Hey everyone, it's Rebecca with Team Ladybug, and I am here to show you the November 2024 Beetle Box and some ways you can use what we got in the box. So let's go. In the November box, we got 6 brand new custom exclusive for this box gel polishes. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas is the collection, and let's look at the first one, which is Nose Like a Cherry, and this is a really pretty red with a red glitter and a red jelly base. You could coat in just one, or you can do 2 coats for extra coverage. The next one that we're going to look at is Sleigh Full of Toys, and this one is a clear base with glitter in it. This one is great if you just want some bling on the nail or if you want to layer it. The next one is Dash Away All. This one is also in a clear base and it's a glitter. It's got purple, green, gold, just a very festive. And the next one is Jolly Old Elf. This is also one in a clear base, and it is blue, white, gold, red, all the good Christmas colors. I like this with a snowy background. I think it would look really pretty over a white or a light blue. The next one is in a Twinkling. This one is a solid gold glitter, so just completely gold, no other colors. It's really blingy, really pretty, really Christmassy. The next one is called New Fallen Snow. This one is in a clear base and it is a very fine silver glitter. So if you want full coverage, you'd need 2 coats. I think all of these colors are really pretty, really blingy, and can carry you into the new year and beyond. I'm going to start out with a base layer on most of these nails, and it's number 87 from the Queen Ladybug Eye Candy collection, and this one's Tootsie's in Trouble. So I've done a base layer of that and cured it, and now I am taking New Fallen Snow and I'm just going to put it over the whole nail. That will add a little bit of glitter to our background and will fully cure that. Now I'm going to come back in with Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel and put a layer of that and fully cure it. For this set of nails, I decided to incorporate Home Is Where Your Heart Is, the limited edition Christmas alcohol inks, because I love them. So the first one I'm using is Mistletoe Kisses. So if you don't have this set, I do suggest you get it. But I thought, hey, let's just do some candy cane nails. This could not be easier if you're trying to do stripes and you know the striping brush is So we're doing an abstract candy cane nail. Just take and have not a ton of alcohol on the brush. Just draw your stripes out like I'm doing here, and then let them dry. Depending on the length of the nail, you'll have more stripes. Don't do them too close together because it's going to blend a little bit. And if you need to add more ink to anywhere, you can do it, but we're going to do this in a controlled way. So make sure you're doing just what I did, where you only put it on little spots. Then once it's dry, take your alcohol ink brush and very carefully, with about a half a brush full of acetone, blend out the edges. Don't make it go all over the place. You're just tapping very lightly on the edges to blend it and blur it a little tiny bit. I love this look. It may look like it's bleeding all over the place. You can take more acetone and clear that up a little bit, but I like the blended candy cane kind of look. And if you remove some of the ink, you can always add back more. This is a pretty easy technique. I think it makes a high impact without much effort, and this red is stunning. The minute that she came out with these, I bought this collection. I did accidentally take off too much of the ink on this one line, so I'm just going to touch these up a little tiny bit with a little bit more ink. It's highly pigmented, but you can take off too much. And I'm just going to go ahead, add a little bit more ink, and then soften it up a little bit with my brush on a second go around. But here you can see how easy it is to adjust. That's why I have wider spaces between the red lines, but you could do it however you wanted. Okay, and to make this extra blingy, we're just going to top coat with Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel, and then this nail is done. It's not full coverage of ink. If you feel like your top coat isn't going to work, if you've put so much ink on it, you may want to use metallic glaze at this stage, but I'm just going to go ahead and use Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel. Cure that, and you've got your first nail done. Now I'm going to use blooming gel. We've got the Tootsies in Trouble still as our background, but we're also going to ombre Pepp-O-Mint in here, which is number 60. And I just am taking the blooming gel and putting it at the bottom. This is just an easy way to do an ombre fade on a nail if you're not that confident in what you're doing. So I'm going to take the Pepp-O-Mint, put it on the top, and I've got the blooming gel on the bottom. I'm just going to drag it down, getting lighter with the pressure as I pull down. So then I'm going to get my ombre brush, and I'm just going to feather this out. So you can go up and down with it, you can go back and forth, just however you use an ombre brush, do it. I do think I put this on a little thick, so I'm wiping some of that off, and I'm just going to clean my brush, and now I'm going to go through and go sideways. Because I'm adding a glitter over the top of this, it does not have to be perfect. You'll see that if you're doing an ombre and you're not so sure about how it's going, just add a little bit of glitter over the top. Or you could do, the sponge method with a nice sponge that'll make it blend out evenly. But since I'm doing the brush method and I'm using glitter, I'm doing blooming gel to ombre this out. I'm just going to tap it a little bit because this brush is also meant to be used to tap through and get your ombre, close enough. Like I said, I'm going to add a glitter fade over the top of this, so it does not have to be perfect. But it'll look pretty good once we're done. So I'm just going to blend, taking my time to blend a little bit more. It's a little bit more labor intensive to do an ombre or a fade. And let's just see a little bit more over here, brushing side to side. And that looks pretty good. Maybe just touch it up just a tad bit here and there to get the color to be pretty close to a good ombre. Okay, I think that looks good, and let's cure. Okay, from the colors we got in the box, I am going to use Jolly Old Elf, and I'm going to cover the bottom light part of the nail. Just brush on the glitter as best you can, and then you can take your ombre brush and spread it out however you want. So this will make it so you can sort of not place the glitter, but just have it where you want it, move it around, do whatever you need to do to get the nice perfect ombre or glitter placement that you're looking for. So once we get that all spread out, we can go ahead and cure. Then I'm just going to come back in with Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel, and I am going to coat this, give it a nice top coat, and then we will cure, and that'll be the next nail. For our fourth nail, we are going to put in a Twinkling on the bottom, and we're going to do an ombre glitter into another glitter. So I'm just going to cover the bottom with this, and then I'm going to use my ombre brush again and I'm going to pull the solid color glitter out. So do a nice fade down to the bottom or down to the 3/4 of the nail. And it's easier to do the solid color or single color glitter first and then add the one with the multicolors over the top, and you'll have a little bit more control. The first one does not have to be perfect, just have it fade out as best you can. Then you can go ahead and cure that one. For the second glitter color, we are using Sleigh full of toys just to keep some consistency here, because we're going to use it on another nail later. And I want to stick with the red, blue, gold, silver colors. So I'm just going to put that at the top. And then I am going to add a little bit more or move it around a little bit. But it seems it's not as easy to do it with your gel polish brush. So I'm just going to scrape off some of the glitter, and then I'm going to come back in with my faithful ombre brush and move these bigger pieces around and move the glitter around so it fades down into the gold. And now you can see why it's easier to do the other glitter over the top and do the solid underneath, because you can move them around and adjust the bigger pieces or the multicolored pieces to blend into the solid color. And it works pretty well to give you a decent ombre. Pull off any extra with your glove if there is some on the sides. Finish blending it out if you need to, and then once that's done, you can fully cure. Okay, again, I'm just going to come in with Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel. I'm going to put a nice schmoozy layer over the top of this to make sure my ombre is covered, and then I'm going to cure. That's nail number 3. Okay, so we've got Tootsie's in Trouble as our base again, and we are just going to top that whole nail with Sleigh full of toys. It doesn't have to be perfectly placed, just cover the whole nail with this glitter to give it a little interest in the background. Once you're happy with how that is, you can go ahead and fully cure the nail. Okay, now I'm not adding a matte top coat, but I'm going to take a Winter-ful Life from Home is Where Your Heart Is limited alcohol ink. And I am just going to make a sort of diagonal line and then another line coming off of it. So basically an upside down Y is what I'm adding here. I'm going to double up on my A Winter-ful Life blue ink, and I'm going to let that dry. Now I'm going to come in with my alcohol ink brush and take about a full brush full of acetone, and maybe a half a brush full of acetone, and I'm going to blend this out just to give a little bit of color all over the nail. Even though these look really sort of beige in the video, they are much lighter in person than they appear on camera. So this color just adds a vintagey touch to the background. I feel you could also do it over white or number 29, which is melodramatic, which is my favorite color. White in the collection, it's an off-white. Anyway, blend this out. You want a little bit of veining, and you want it to look like a winter kind of storm. That's the idea I had in mind with this. It also gives you an idea that you don't just have to have a solid background or a solid glitter color background to use alcohol inks over. You can do them with a glitter background and they look really good. Either opaque or transparent or semi-opaque alcohol inks over glitter are stunning. So now I'm going to take my Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel, and I'm just going to coat the whole nail with that because we have one more step for this nail. So once you have that coated and you're happy with it, fully cure the top coat. Now I'm coming in with whipped cream gel in silver. This, if you have not used it, is so pretty. I love this. This might be my favorite whipped cream because it's just so different from the other ones. I'm going to take my 9mm brush and I'm just going to draw a little bit of veining in here with that whipped cream gel. Since it has a top coat in it already and you only have to, put it on and fully cure it and you're good to go, I'm just using this to highlight some of the veining and make my little winter storm here on my nail look a little bit more glittery and wintry and pretty. So just follow the lines of whatever you've done with your alcohol ink, and you can add some extra lines here and there, whatever you think looks good. I like it the way it is, so I am probably just gonna add one little tiny line here just for a little bit extra interest, and then I am gonna cure. Then that nail will be done once it's cured, and we've got 4 nails out of 5 done. Okay, I've saved the hardest for last. I'm going to take Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel and I'm going to coat it over Tootsie's in Trouble, and I'm going to cure. Then I'm going to come back in with Royal Tree Farm, again from Home Is Where Your Heart Is limited edition alcohol inks. We're going to take the ink and do the basis of our pine branches. So I'm going to do 3 stripes down the side because my nail will hold 3 stripes. Yours may hold 2, or if it's a really small nail, only 1. And then I'm going to do the center of the tree down the side, and then I'm going to double up on my ink to have a good base. When it's dry, come back in with your alcohol ink brush and go ahead and blend this out. This isn't going to be the end of the pine branches. You just want a nice base for what we're going to do next. So just blend it out. It has to be blurry and, like you're looking through a pine tree. It's not going to be obviously solid. We want some definition as to like the branches themselves, and that'll be the veins that we're using. And then you can obviously finish up the side to make it blend out if you didn't get it all the way to the edge. If you're doing this on a person, we recommend you use Inky Pinky polish underneath this so that you have way more control over where your ink goes and you don't get it all in the sidewalls of the nail. So just keep blending until you're happy with the way it looks. You can add more ink or take off more ink. It does not need to be solid. It just needs to have the airy feel of a pine tree. Once that's fully dry, come back in with the Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel and cover the whole nail. You're only going to cure this for 30 seconds, so it's not fully cured, but it's mostly cured. Now I'm going to come in with whipped cream gel in metallic green. I'm going to just set that aside for now, grab my ombre brush, and I am going to take some of this metallic whipped cream gel in green, and I'm going to put it on my palette. This is a really shimmery, pretty green, and it's going to bring a lot of life to this nail. So just take some, put it on your palette. You do not need very much gel at all, just the bare minimum, because we are going to do pine needles. So I want you to take it, put it on your brush, and spread it out. I want your brush to be able to still see the bristles, so fully coat both sides and then wipe it off. Keep going back in and then make sure that your bristles are still spread apart, and you're just going to tap on the pine needles. This is a great way to use an ombre brush to give a high impact with, again, low effort. You're just going to tap and put your pine needles on. Don't worry if some of them blend a little bit together. It's going to look really good once the whole thing's finished. And I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this on camera or in the picture, but once you are finished with the nail and you move it and shift it, you're going to see every little brush stroke you did, and it's going to shimmer and glimmer and have kind of a 3D pine needle effect. So just keep going, do each branch and do the center, but keep going the way I'm showing you, wiping your brush off, gathering a little bit more, make sure your bristles are spread out, and it's just a wow factor with an easy way to do it. The whipped cream gel will add a tiny bit of 3D effect because it is a thicker viscosity gel and highly pigmented, but we're putting this on so thin that you're not really going to feel any of the texture, but you'll see it. So keep going on your pine tree branches until your nail is filled and you're satisfied with the way it looks. And then we're going to go ahead and fully cure once we're happy with that, and then we'll move on to the next step. Here you can see how thin it is, and it really hasn't added any layer. So I want to do just a little bit more, and I'm just going to add a few random spots where I'm adding another layer of the branches, because I do want this to have kind of a 3D effect. And you can either skip this step or you can do it, but if you'd like, you can add one more layer of just random pine needles. Okay, so that's fully cured, and now I'm getting some Nose Like a Cherry from the gel polishes we got and my 9mm brush, and I'm just going to draw on some diamond shapes and make little ornaments in my Christmas tree. If you don't want diamond shapes, you could do circles, you could do any sort of bulb shape that you want. You could do little Christmas tree lights. If you have stamps, you could stamp this part and then fill it in with the gel after the stamp is dry or after you've cured the stamp. So there's a lot of ways you could go with this Christmas tree. I'm just giving you a basic example and drawing some diamonds on here and making it super easy because diamonds are pretty easy to do. So I'm just going to get those diamonds on there, and then once I'm happy with the way they are, I am going to cure. Okay, now I'm coming back in with the silver whipped cream gel, and I'm going to take my 9mm brush again, and I'm going to just highlight these ornaments. I'm going to go around the edge of the ornament and add a border, and I'm also going to add a little bit of texture in the center to give it a little bit of glitter and definition because I still want it to have the vintage feel. And then once I have that in, I'm just going to top it off with the hook on the top. Go ahead and do this to all the ornaments you've created or stamped or hand painted, whichever you're doing, and make sure that they're all consistently and evenly lined. So if you are not good with controlling the amount of gel on your brush when dipping it in, go ahead, use your palette, wipe off your brush so that all your lines are consistent and you have no big thick spots on your ornaments. Once you're happy with that, you can fully cure your ornament, just adding some finishing touches here to the centers, and then I'm going to pop it in and cure. You can see this is pretty flat, but there are some raised parts, so if you want this nail to be flat, I would take metallic glaze and coat it, then cure that and top coat with Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel. I am just doing this for video's sake, so I'm just going to coat it with the Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel, but do as I say and not as I do in this video, and do metallic glaze if you're going to re-top coat it with the Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel. If you don't want your nail flat, like we've done here and you want some raised parts, I suggest that you get the crystal embossing gel from Queen Ladybug, and you can use this to pop up any of your nail art. Take your 9mm brush and take a little bit of this and outline your ornaments or whatever you're wanting to be raised. This is a perfect gel for adding crystals that you don't want to move on your nail either. So you could add a little bit of bling to these and add tiny crystals or one big one in the middle and outline it. It all depends on what you want to do and what your client is interested in or what you're interested in. Once you get the crystal gel where you want it, I do recommend turning the nail upside down and let gravity do a little bit of work for you, giving a little bit more popped up feel, and then you can fully cure for 60 seconds and this nail is complete. I did my sample nails before I did this, and this one I just used only Royal Tree Farm alcohol ink and made the tree branches. I wasn't in love with that, so that's when I decided to use the whipped cream gel and show you the difference here. And also there's some circular ornaments versus the diamond ornaments, but it just adds a little bit more texture and you can see what a big difference it is. If you don't have the whipped cream gel, you can always do this as an option. If you have any questions about the techniques I've used or the products I've used, please feel free to comment below or send us a message, International Nail Art Academy on Facebook, and we would be happy to help you with whatever questions you have. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial and get some really pretty Christmas nails out of the glitters you got in the box. I would love it if you tagged us and showed us the pictures that you did, show us the nails you did with these products, and show us how you've used them, or I would love to see the pine trees if you guys do that at all. So I, again, am hoping that you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next month.